Hello everybody, and welcome back to Roads Yet Traveled. We are here with Marrowyn, doing like the testy tests things, you know, we're finally doing our routine. Are we gonna call it a routine? Doing more tests again? I think this is Tucker's routine with Marrowyn, at least in the labs anyway. But alright, let's get in there.
You may still be familiar with this one. You've been through it already once.
The door opens, and a bed-like protrusion comes out of the wall. Right. X-rays or something, yeah?
The professor asked for, frankly, a stunning amount of internal scans to be done. Some that would have been, well, a bit more intrusive than I would have liked. So, I condensed a list and selected the ones I thought would be best.
Intrusive? I thought you said his tests were gonna be rudimentary.
I said most of them were. Not all of them.
Marrowyn.
It's fine. We won't do anything you don't want to do. I promise. So please, tell me right away when you're not completely comfortable.
And he'll be okay with that.
He's not the one with 3 medical degrees, so he'll have to live with it. Anyways, that list was highly speculative to begin with.
Excuse me.
There's little reason to talk about,
biopsies, or...
or drawing samples before we've done any internal scans. Whereas we can clearly do some internal scans instead.
Oh, so like an MRI or something. We have that technology back home is all.
Oh, that's good. So you understand some of what's happening then.
I mean, for me, it just boils down to sitting still for a few marks. But yeah, I get it.
Well, we should get started then. Do you mind taking your shoes off and emptying your pockets? Any number of miscellaneous things could interfere with the test.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Now, don't worry too much about this first one. I can sit with you here while you do it. I'll just ask that you try and sit still.
Yeah, of course. Mind helping me up? He offers a paw as I slip into the device. I can't see him anymore, but I think he's seated just above me. I hear him flipping through some documents and talking under his breath. The dim lights move in a hypnotic pattern on the ceiling, only a foot or two from my face. So, what is this Söknoss project anyways?
Huh?
The one you keep talking about. Some big news thing coming in? Some big new thing coming in.
Oh, well... Clearance aside, I suppose I can tell you.
Aren't I your assistant?
Well, yes. But I do take this seriously. But I haven't even told Patri all the specifics yet.
Really? Can't imagine he's happy about that.
He's used to it. He's been at Söknoss longer than I have.
Oh, that's surprising.
It is?
Well, kind of. I figured since your dad... Since the professor was prolific, you'd have been around since you were qualified.
I worked for, subsidiaries for a while. That doesn't mean I wasn't here. Working on the station, I just wasn't Söknoss's employee.
Ah, so it's semantics.
Are you sure you want to start arguing with me? I could forget to take you out of there for a mark or two. I have been busy after all.
Okay. And let me starve. You never.
You're not hungry, are you?
I hear him almost whimper. No, Marrowyn, I'm fine. Thank you. But that's kind of cool still. I forget that not having everyone here works for Not everyone here works for Söknoss. Sorry, that got away from me a second.
It feels like that at times, but no.
I don't remember how. What is this word? Ubiquitous? Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. Is that it? Ubiquitous? I got there. Söknoss is outside of this place. I can only imagine they're pretty damn important. They basically seem like an arm of the government at this point. So, are you gonna tell me about it?
Oh, it's not exactly as you might imagine. They're having us run trials on some new drug that they've been working on. Something about bone and muscle atrophy? Atrophy born in space, but in space-born individuals. That's a thing that happens on stations with no gravity, if you're not careful. It's not really fatal, mind you, but it still it's still something we need to overcome for long-term stability.
That sounds pretty important. Is that something you want to be working on, though?
If it ends up helping people, then of course. But if it's but it just as likely could fail to pass the trial stages.
That must be rough for him. Working on something for months, only to have it shelved because it just can't be done at the time. So, what's up with all the boxes and new equipment then? Seems like a lot for just some drug trials.
Honestly, I'm not sure myself. There's apparently still more waiting in the cargo hold as well. I do appreciate getting new tools every once in a while, but this does feel a bit excessive.
Maybe they're just being cautious.
Yes, that is a virtue they like to think they preach, isn't it?
He continues reading as I feel myself getting drowsy, staring at the ceiling. I want to itch every single inch of my body at the same time, just waiting like this, and somehow he can tell.
You're about halfway there, Tucker.
Really?
No. Are you doing alright, though?
Yeah. Just a bit bored.
I can imagine. Do you need anything?
Not really, but talking helps.
Huh. Anything cross your mind?
I don't really understand something. Maybe you can help me figure it out?
Okay. What is it?
You're talking about other stations before, but I don't understand. Are there just civilians living in space?
Oh. It's a bit complicated. There are various orbital and low-orbiting stations around most of the planets in our system, but they aren't like this one. Some house civilians, some entire communities, and some are strictly for research and government business. Very few of them have gravity. The ones in low orbit do, but those are really only on Lyle, and are different in their own right.
Tyre said something about that, I think.
Yes. It worked there for a time, I believe.
So wait, why do people live on these stations then? Don't you have like 3 planets you could be instead?
Why live anywhere? Societal reasons. Social and economic reasons. It's a whole, beef of issues. For Lyle, it's mainly the issue of overpopulation. If you can create enough cities on the ground, make them in the sky.
If you can't create, okay.
Not everyone wants to move to Uran and Reich, and fewer still can. Space travel may be easier for us than it is for your species, but it's still not an easy process, and it's far from being wholly commercialized.
You didn't mention Lyle had an overpopulation issue. Oh, does it really matter? Has it really come up in a meaningful way? Until now?
I didn't mention a lot of things about the planets, Tucker. We barely had time for a summary. Yes, Lyle has a population crisis for a few generations now. The cities have helped. The new cities have helped, but they aren't a permanent solution.
I had no idea.
Perhaps I'm explaining it poorly. It's not as awful as I believe you think it is. People thrive, society flourishes, just as it always has. Many of our best recruits are from Lyle, including Patri and myself.
I thought you didn't know where you came from.
Oh, well, the orphanage was on Lyle. Whether I came from the planet's surface or an orbital matters little. It's not like they transported me from Urine.
Urine? How's this pronounced? I don't even know.
Just to get adopted.
No, I guess not. Why is every answer here raises even more questions? So there are stations like that on every planet, even the uninhabited ones.
Most of them. I don't believe Turum and Reclane have any. And if there is one orbiting an uninhabited planet, it's most likely a research station like this one.
So they're mostly around Lyle then?
I believe so. Urium and Reich don't have quite the same infrastructure to support building them, let alone the economy to keep them running. As long as they don't need them, I suppose. I wonder what Marrowyn could tell me about that.
Well, thanks for explaining that. I will say, though, it definitely makes me want to visit Lyle at some point, if that ever becomes a possibility. I hadn't really thought about leaving the station for a while, and especially not to go to an alien planet.
But why not? It's within, aircraft distance. Just go do it, right?
I wonder if that ever be possible. I doubt Marrowyn thinks about leaving the station too often either.
That might be a while, Tucker.
Yeah, I realize that. No worries, it's okay, really. How much longer until I can stretch my legs, Doc? Marrowyn?
The scan finished a few minutes ago. I just didn't want to cut you off while you were still talking.
Please let me out. The machine slides out from the wall, and a paw helps me back to my feet. I get a few stretches in while he fiddles with a nearby display.
So, this was your first X-ray for a few days ago, and this one is from today.
Two almost identical images appear on the screen in front of me. It's like a really strange game of spot the difference, as I look for any changes in my bones. I think I noticed something on my left leg, but when I point it out, Doc waves it off as superfluous. Wait, superfluous? I don't know words, man. I keep trying until he finally raises a clawed finger to a part on my right arm.
Here, this could be some small fracture of some kind. Do you mind if I feel it?
Oh, my arm? Yeah, sure. Turning to the side, I raise my arm for him, and he gently starts pressing down where he thinks the damage might be.
Do you feel anything? Anything at all?
I feel some really soft paws pressing into me, but not much beyond that. Not really. You can press harder if that'd help.
Oh no. You would be able to feel it by now. Well, at least this scan came out negative. I'm sure the rest will too. Don't worry. It's a shame about this, though.
He raises a paw to the diagram, pointing it to my jaw. Oh, right. I feel the area with my tongue, only to be met with some tender tissue. Yeah, that wasn't really on my to-do list either. But hey, maybe it's a good thing I'm still only eating oatmeal. Otherwise, I might agitate it more, huh? 'Cause, you know,
And you're sure that they don't grow back?
Pretty sure.
Oh. Well, let me know if it begins to cause any discomfort. I'll see what I can do about it. In the meantime, do you mind coming over here?
He gestures up and heads over to another machine. Following behind him, I accidentally bump into his side, causing him to chuckle as he wraps an arm behind me and pats my back. What's this one gonna do to me?
Oh, hopefully nothing. But it should give us a good idea of the structure of your nerves and circular systems. Circulatory.
Like, my lungs?
More like your veins. I know many seem a bit unnecessary with your lack of fur, but it will give us more to work with.
Helping me up onto the table, I lay down on it as the rings on the machine weird to life, moving up and down in an almost disorienting pattern.
This shouldn't take nearly as long. I'm going to go get some things ready while you wait. Is that alright?
Oh, more tests?
Lunch, actually.
Well, that's nice.
I believe Patry has something to report, so he'll be back as well.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. He smiles and steps away, marching off and digging through one of their fridges in the back of the room while his tail lolls behind him. I'm still amazed he hasn't knocked anything over with that damn thing. Being able to see the rest of the room is quite nice, even if I can't move still. Time slips by as the rings do their best to lull me to sleep. Before I know it, a large paw is being offered, and I dig myself up off the scanner.
I hope that was alright. Nothing too horrible.
Wait, that was it? I almost fell asleep for a minute there.
Not all of the tests have to be terrible. Not that, they are terrible, just terribly important.
His massive grin implies that was a joke, but unfortunately can't make myself laugh, even if he did try his hardest.
Patry should be here soon, though. If you'd like to take a seat.
I nod, graciously taking some assistance in getting up on one of the stools and resting on the empty desk. Morrow goes about preparing some kind of scans for a review while musing to himself about, well, something. I can't quite hear him, but his muted tone speaks volumes. I'd almost say he sounds disappointed. I hope that he's just bored with how good and healthy and totally not worrying my scans are. Whether or not that what's wrong with me is physical, mental, or, well, spiritual. Spiritual. There's probably a good chance one of the tests today can figure out something. I doubt it will explain what I saw, though. Oh, look, it's that little lad. As I go to rest my head, that's what it says, the far door opens and I perk up, seeing a pair of pointy ears peeking out from behind a desk.
Zeno, if you ever use me as a delivery boy again, I swear I will have your tail.
Oh, Tucker, lunch is here.
Patry grumbles, but graciously puts the tray on the table for all of us before taking a seat across from me.
Oh, you're still alive. That's good. I figured Marrowyn might have stepped on you by accident.
Same could be said of you.
Really, Patry? He's right. You better watch out where you stand.
He rolls his eyes and starts taking food for himself, that's what it says, shoving something into his maw before continuing.
But really, he good? You don't seem too worried. You didn't send any worrying messages, at least. Everything was pretty good on my end.
It's hard to say. I didn't see any blockages or hemorrhaging in his various systems. His bones look alright. Perhaps just a hairline fracture or two, but really, everything seems fine.
And?
Well, I just... I don't really know what Patry wanted. Not Patry. What Tyre wanted. We've done quite a bit and found nothing. Not that I'm saying that there is something wrong, but after what you've described and what happened... I'm just not sure what to do. We still have to do the last scan after lunch, but I'm not holding out hope we'll find anything.
Alright, and...
We both turn to Patry, who's halfway through chewing on dumplings of some kind.
And?
Yeah, and?
Usually doctors are happy with their patients' tests come back negative. Were his vitals good?
Well, from what we understand, yes, but,
And his lungs? It all sounded good.
From what I heard, yes, but I really must state that...
And his blood work? Excuse me. Done by your fantastic assistant? It was fine. He's fine. Marrowyn, I know you're worried, but please don't let it consume you. And I've seen what this kind of work does to you, and I'd really prefer if you didn't, sequester yourself away for another 2 weeks. I'd really like to have my boss back.
Patry, even if that were all true...
Which it is.
Those could still be a million things wrong with them. How can you be so calm about this?
Hey, Tucker, humor me for a moment, alright? You just translate, don't interfere.
What are you...
Nope. Just listen. Alright, Tucker, tell me, what are your symptoms again?
Memory loss, hallucinations, dizziness, and headaches. I look to Marrowyn, who looks surprisingly annoyed, as though this kind of thing has played out before. Still, he translates for me.
Oh wow, so let me get this right. The alien that has been displaced from his kind is suffering symptoms of anxiety and some severe traumatic stress disorders. He needs therapy, not a bone marrow biopsy.
Patry, that's just not it. Please don't...
Don't what? Make your life easier? Marrowyn, I know how you are when Seno tells you to do things, alright? We've worked together long enough that I can understand that. You're grasping at tails here. What are you trying to find? Did he even tell you? You can't seriously expect to just keep running tests on the poor kid until you find something that can be fixed. Void, he shouldn't even be here. He should be resting or enjoying some resort somewhere. I still can't believe Söknoss decided to put him to work of all things.
He was bored in his room. We're just glad he's getting out.
Fine, whatever. I'm still not going to waste my time on any bullshit he sends your way, alright? Not going to stop working on the kid, obviously, but don't waste my time. My time being like this, okay? Well?
Verison? Please, show some professionalism.
Oh my, things come out. If only you could speak to your father like that.
Morrow gets up and walks to the back of the lab, going over something on one of the monitors. Well, okay, everyone. I'm going to end the part here. That was kind of exciting. But yeah, we'll see how this all shakes out next time. But I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.